Part 44. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 435. Under the Sea, Dragon Palace. Aopokang squatted on the ground and drew circles with a small piece of coral. He's so boring. Ever since Aopokang brought back a lot of treasures from the purple coral forest, his friends of the same age also looked at him highly. At first, Aopokang liked to show off, but gradually, he felt uncomfortable. The Dragon Palace was too boring, and Aopokang wanted to go out to play, but he had run away from home once before, and now his father and teacher were on guard against him. As a result, Aopokang missed Sutingyu very much. He kept thinking that Sutingyu would come back to Dragon Palace and take him out to play together. "My benefactor, why don't you come?" "Benefactor, you know, the Dragon Clan has reconciled with the Mermaid Clan recently. I heard that my fourth brother is going to marry the new queen of the Mermaid Clan. The world of adults is really difficult to understand. Before, the fourth brother threatened that he would not marry even if I beat him to death. Now he just changes his mind." After drawing on the ground for a long time, Aopokang lost interest and stood up to leave. He kept muttering, "How can I get out of the Dragon Palace to play?" Aopokang was swimming while thinking about it. During this period, he was so obsessed with thinking that he even hit a pillar. When Aopokang returned to his residence, a translucent panel suddenly appeared in front of his eyes, displaying a few lines of words. "Welcome to Parallel Paradise. Congratulations on being selected as the fourth batch of closed beta players. You can experience being a normal dragon in the game and enjoy happy dragon life. Dungeon difficulty, 1 to 13 stars. Game pain realism, 100%. Any degree of damage received in the game will not affect reality. When a player dies in the game, a certain amount of game currency will be deducted. Players with 0 game currency, please use mousetail juice. Click to enter the game." Aopokang was confused. This, what is this?" While Aopokang was distracted, the click to enter the game on the panel had already clicked on its own, and the surrounding light suddenly disappeared and fell into darkness. After about 10 seconds, the panel glowed brightly, and Aopokang was already in a square purple alien space. This, where is this?" At this time, Aopokang saw that this strange panel had refreshed its words. "Checking player information. It is detected that you are participating in this game for the first time. Please create a game character. Please fill in nickname." Aopokang was confused and subconsciously said, "The strongest dragon king under the sea." Create nickname successfully. Player information has been detected. Nickname, the strongest dragon king under the sea. Gender, male. Age, 200. No, 522,522. Level, 0, 0/100. Game currency, 0. Item column, none. Aopokang scratched his head. Dong Dong, who appeared inexplicably, actually admitted that he was the most powerful dragon under the sea. After a few seconds, the content on the panel refreshed again. Physical symptoms, stuttering, lack of tendons, prone to crying. Inability index, level 3.5. Comprehensive evaluation, neutral but useless. Aopokang stared in surprise. Who doesn't think it's useful? He is very useful. The game copy is starting. What to start? What to enter the copy? I don't want it. Father, please help. Old, master, please help. My benefactor, please help. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 436. Dear Angel Su players, hello, Congratulations on successfully completing the main mission and successfully clearing the 20,000 leagues under the sea dungeon. The settlement is in progress. Occupation obtained, Pure Heart Singer. Obtain a profession-bound item, Mermaid Conch. Obtain game item, Grain Storage Ring. Unlock the Hidden Worldview, 1, crack the Hidden Worldview, 1, gain experience points 4444, game coins 4444, Destiny Code Fragments 2. Congratulations on winning the title of Master, the greatest good person. Function, improve the temperament of a kind and innocent person by 70%, making it easier to appear harmless to humans and animals. Note, seriously, no one is more like a good person than you. Settlement completed. After Sutingyu returned to the settlement space, she immediately sent a message to the 3-person group chat, but did not receive an immediate response. Didn't they pay attention to the panel now? Sutingyu muttered. When he saw the friend request sent by Shanyu in the message, he immediately remembered the game currency that the latter owed him, and clicked to agree. Then, Sutingyu returned his attention to the settlement interface. In the settlement of this round of dungeons, there are no rewards such as dungeon exploration level. Sutingyu counted her experience points on her fingers. She still had more than 2,000 left before she could level up. Besides level, what Sutingyu cared about most was of course the career he had just obtained. Occupation, Pure Heart Singer. Professional bound item, Mermaid Conch. Professional feature, Healing. Professional talents. 1 Soul Rest Shadow, close your eyes and sleep, your sweet dreams will come true. 2 The sound of nature purifies, hand in hand, walk together, don't be afraid, don't cry, don't give up, let's fly away in pain. 3 Unclear. Hey, do you want me to sing with a conch? Sutingyu guessed to herself. Sutingyu's singing can hypnotize regardless of species. Now that there are more professions, if he sings again in the dungeon, will it still have a hypnotic effect? Or retaining the hypnotic properties but adding any healing properties? Wait a minute, it seems that my original singing voice, in addition to hypnosis, also has some healing effects, right? Sutingyu suddenly remembered this. So what's the point of getting this career for her? Sutingyu thought about it for a while and realized that it was not completely useless. If she sang to hypnotize herself in the dungeon in the future and was discovered by other players, she could blame the blame on her profession and avoid exposing her real identity. Currently, Sutingyu's singer profession allows him to use 2 talents, but the third talent shows unknown and cannot be activated for the time being. Sutingyu poked it, and the prompt that popped up only asks Sutingyu to actively explore without giving any clues. A hot chicken game, it's nothing. Sutingyu grunted and exited the settlement space. Back in the real world, Sutingyu appeared in Qin-Chi's room. She subconsciously turned around and saw that there was no one on the bed. Where is Qi-Chi? Sutingyu frowned. If she hadn't known that this was Guqi's territory, she would have suspected that Qin-Chi had been abducted again. The updated personal information on the panel popped up. Sutingyu closed it without even looking at it. Could it be the fat man who took Qin-Chi out? Sutingyu guessed secretly. Although he had stayed in the dungeon for almost a month, Sutingyu subconsciously felt that less than half an hour had passed in the real world. Sutingyu turned around and walked towards the door, wanting to find someone. Before he even put his little hand on the door handle, there was a sudden click and the door was pushed open from the outside. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 437. Brother Chi, let me come. A young man pushed the door open and came in with a simple and honest smile on his face. But when he saw Sutingyu in the room, his smile gradually disappeared and his eyes became wary. Who are you? Hearing this, Sutingyu was confused. Ah, isn't this the line she wants to say? Brother Chi? Where is Brother Chi? You. Wei Chu turned to look at the bed and found that Qin Chi was missing. He looked surprised. When he looked at Sutingyu, his eyes looked a little strange. No, aloud, you can't come in, you. Sutingyu originally thought that this young man was going to say something, but she didn't know that the latter suddenly turned around and ran away. As soon as Wei Chu ran out, he shouted outside, Brother Chi. It's not good. Brother Chi is missing. A thief broke in. In the room, Sutingyu blinked his big eyes in confusion. Thief. Sutingyu looked around. Where? Where is the thief? Wait a minute. I'm a thief. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Wei Chu stood in front of Sutingyu with an apologetic look on his face, bending down and kowtowing every time he said I'm sorry, feeling extremely embarrassed. Chi Bubi coughed lightly and introduced to Sutingyu, this is the new Wei Chu. He is 17 years old this year. He is the new nurse and is responsible for taking care of the 7th young master together with Fen Nanbei. Oh, Sutingyu originally wanted to find a caregiver or something, but she kept putting off finding one. It seems that Guju is still of some use. Hello. My name is Sutingyu. I'm a little older than you. Sutingyu waved her little paw and greeted Wei Chu. Sister Su. Hello, my name is Wei Chu. You can just call me Xiaozu. That's what everyone in the village calls me. Wei Chu folded his hands slightly cautiously. Sister Su. Sutingyu blinked her big eyes, and the smile on her lips couldn't stop rising. Ahem, okay, Xiaozu, I will protect you from now on. Thank you, Sister Su, Wei Chu quickly thanked her. Little pig, you go down first, cut some fruit, and come back after half an hour, Chi Bubi on the side said at this time. Okay, Brother Chi. Although Wei Chu was surprised by Chi Bubi's order, he didn't think much about it and turned around and went down the stairs. After Wei Chu had completely left, Sutingyu asked, where are Qin Chi and the others? Sir, the 7th young master and Fen Nanbei have entered the dungeon, Chi Bubi replied. Sutingyu was confused. Huh? No, it's only been so long, why did they go in again? Miss Su, 3 days have passed since you entered the professional dungeon. Chi Bubi took out his mobile phone, turned on the screen, and placed it right in front of Sutingyu, who also saw it clearly. Date above. 2021.06.09. This, I only stayed in the dungeon for about a month. According to the proportion of time in the previous dungeon, didn't the real world only last half an hour? Sutingyu was really filled with big things in his small head at this time. Question mark. Professional dungeons are different from ordinary dungeons. The time ratio is irregular. It only took you 3 days to get out. You are lucky, Chi Bubi explained. Hearing this, Sutingyu was slightly surprised for a moment. Judging from Chi Bubi's tone, could it be possible that it would take longer? Is that so? How long have Qin Chi and the others been in the dungeon? Went in 10 minutes ago. Sutingyu counted on his fingers. 10 minutes, that is, they have been in the ordinary dungeon for 10 days. They haven't come out yet. I guess I encountered a catastrophic dungeon. For dungeons with this kind of attribute, the duration of the dungeon is generally more than 15 days. You have just released the dungeon, so you can go have lunch first, Chi Bubi suggested. Oh, okay, Sutingyu agreed. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 438. Magic City, Fanchi Manor. A high-end sports car like a blazing flame drove into the most famous wealthy villa area in Shanghai. The villa area is built near mountains and rivers, with fresh air and greenery. At the edge of the villa area is a private yacht dock, where various luxury yachts are docked. The window next to the driver's seat of the sports car was fully lowered, and the cool breeze poured in. The woman in the driver's seat had the tail of her slightly curly hair that reached her waist being constantly blown. The woman is wearing an elegant and decent red loose skirt, with exquisite makeup, like the most bright and moving fire rose, growing wildly and wildly. Soft music was playing on the speakers in the car, but Shan Yu's mind was in a mess at this time, and he was not at all calm. Shan Yu is the undisputed traffic queen in the entertainment industry. All the movies and TV series she has participated in have become hits without exception. Shan Yu was flourishing in the entertainment industry. During this period, it was not like no one wanted to take advantage of her, but all of them came to nothing. Gradually, it was not difficult for the elders in the industry to guess that Shan Yu had a big backer behind her. Shan Yu suddenly braked and stopped on the side of the road. She fumbled for a box of candies in the car, picked up one, peeled off the sugar coating, and put the candy in her mouth. The sweet sugary flavor along with a hint of milk fills the entire mouth and slides smoothly into the throat. Shan Yu turned his head and his eyes fell on a villa outside the car window. He paused for a few seconds and let out a soft tisk. Shan Yu started the car again and drove towards the villa he had just stared at. Shan Yu first drove the sports car to the parking garage, and met some servants or bodyguards in the villa on the way. The latter all respectfully called Miss. After getting off the car, Shan Yu simply tidied up his instrument, pursed his lips with a graceful smile, walked out towards the villa door with his bag in hand. "Good morning, miss." As soon as Shan Yu entered the door, a servant trotted over, picked up a pair of women's shoes from the shoe cabinet at the door, and handed it to Shan Yu. "It's late, it's almost noon." Shan Yu didn't mean to change his shoes. He lowered his eyebrows and glanced at the servant. He looked a little unfamiliar, maybe he was new. "Take the shoes away." "Ah, okay, okay." The servant was stunned for a few seconds. After he came to his senses, he quickly picked up his shoes and retreated to the edge of the corner. After Shan Yu came in, some hearty male laughter came from the living room on the first floor. What are Binhua's recent plans? There were two men sitting on the sofa. One of them was a little older and somewhat mature, while the other man should be in his 20s or 30s, with a dignified face, gentle temperament, and humility. Shan Yu is familiar with the older man. That man is her good godfather, Liang Zihao, but the other young man, who is he? Godfather. Shan Yu raised his lips and called out as his mind was wandering. The older man turned his head and looked, and the smile on his face suddenly widened a bit. "You is here." He waved to Shan Yu, motioning for the latter to come over. "Godfather, who is this?" Shan Yu walked over obediently, with a light smile on his face, and asked softly. "Oh, this is Su Binhua, the eldest son of the Su family in the capital." Just as Liang Zihao was about to introduce him, the young man suddenly stood up and extended his right hand like a gentleman. "Hello, Miss Shan. I've heard of you for a long time. I am Su Binhua. I am 35 years old and single. I am currently a general manager in a family business. I am also the recognized heir of the Su family. Nice to meet you." Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 439. Shan Yu was stunned for half a second, then calmly stretched out his right hand. The two of them shook hands in a friendly and polite manner. 2 seconds later, Shan Yu was about to take back his hand when his palm was suddenly lightly scratched by his nails. In just a moment, Su Binhua let go of Shan Yu's hand, with a gentlemanly smile that could not find any fault on his face. Shan Yu's eyes were cold, the curvature of his lips remained unchanged, and he retracted his hand naturally, as if he couldn't detect anything wrong. Seeing the seemingly happy scene, Liang Zihao laughed loudly. "You Binhua can be said to be a leader among the younger generation in the capital. You are similar in age, so you must have many topics in common." "Master Su looks, indeed, very powerful." Shan Yu smiled and complimented. Liang Zihao said hey and patted his forehead. His expression became helpless. "Look at my memory, I suddenly remembered that there was an urgent document to be processed, so I went upstairs first. You guys talk first, Ben. Hua doesn't have to be restrained. After speaking, Liang Zihao quickly walked up the stairs. As soon as they left, Su Binhua asked aloud, Miss Shan, this is my first time in Shanghai. I wonder if I can ask Miss Shan to go out and taste the local delicacies. Young Master Su is my godfather's guest, so I will naturally entertain him thoroughly. Shan Yu agreed immediately. Before going out, Shan Yu glanced in the direction of the stairs from the corner of his eye. Still not a single figure came down. Tisk. Is this what the old fox calls a family dinner? It's really a good calculation. After going upstairs, Liang Zihao walked straight into his study. At this time, standing by the window of the study, was a young man whose face was somewhat similar to that of Liang Zihao. Wen Xiao, what are you looking at? Liang Zihao glanced at the young man, reached out to pick up the strong tea on the desk, and took a sip. Outside the window, Liang Wenchao's eyes fell on a man and a woman who had just left the house below. His eyes were cold. After staring at the woman for a few seconds, a trace of disgust appeared in his eyes. He turned around and said, Father, why did you call Shan Yu back? Of course it's time for her to play her due role, Liang Zihao said with a matter-of-fact expression. Over the years, the Liang family has supported her, protected her, and even helped her get revenge. Now let her pay back some interest, but share it. Liang Wenchao frowned, Father, there is no need to let Shan Yu marry the eldest son of the Su family, right? With her background, she is not worthy of being the future mistress of the Su family. Father, you are likely to lose money with this move. The Liang family is quite prestigious in the Magic City, but it is not as good as the Su family in the capital. Liang Wenchao also knows how many benefits Liang Zihao secretly ceded in order to get along with the Su family's eldest son. Because of his understanding, Liang Wenchao felt that it was not worth using Shan Yu as a bargaining chip. The Su family in the capital was not a place where that lowly woman could set foot. Even if the road was paved for her, she would probably be abandoned by the Su family soon. Wen Xiao, you underestimate Shan Yu. As long as she is willing to cooperate, and with the help of our Liang family, she will definitely be able to secure her position as the future mistress of the Su family. Liang Zihao took another sip of coffee and his eyes were dazed for a moment. Seems to be remembering some adult past. Back then, a girl with nothing appeared in front of him, offering him a bright road. The girl's purpose was to make a deal with him, a veteran who had been immersed in officialdom and business circles for many years. Haha, what an innocent and bold girl. Even now, every time Liang Zihao thinks about it, he is very dismissive, and it is difficult to understand how he was so obsessed at that time that he would agree to a deal with a 15-year-old girl. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 440. Later, the girl became his adopted daughter, entered the entertainment industry, and became famous. Secretly, she also used the power of the Liang family to take revenge on her enemies. Liang Zihao thought that the transaction back then was over, but in recent years, Shan Yu had enjoyed great success with the Liang family on his back. Now, it's Shan Yu's turn to owe the Liang family. Therefore, it is just a marriage, and this is what Shan Yu should pay for the Liang family. Liang Zihao had never mentioned these secrets to his beloved son Liang Wenchao, and there was no need to mention them. In Liang Wenchao's eyes, when he was young, Shan Yu was the illegitimate daughter his father created while hanging out in the flowers. She was ignorant, shameless, and extremely disgusting. She came to compete with him for his father's favor. After reaching adulthood, Liang Wenchao began to regard Shan Yu as a contender for the Liang family's property, and an outsider, a rotten woman who was struggling in the entertainment industry and was only beautiful on the surface but had been slept with by countless wild men secretly, was not qualified to treat her. In the Liang family, she enjoyed the benefits that the Liang family brought her. Shan Yu looked at an antique hotel in front of him, then turned to look at Su Binhua in the driver's seat. Master Su, I heard that the private cuisine of this five-star hotel tastes very authentic, and the chef is a descendant of the royal chef of the previous dynasty. Yes, let's have lunch here. Su Binhua got out of the car first, then turned to open the door for Shan Yu. Miss Shan, please. Su Binhua also raised his hand to block the top of the car door in a gentlemanly manner. Shan Yu got out of the car with a smile. Su Binhua closed the car door and locked the car. He was about to take Shan Yu's hand and go in together, but turned around and found that the latter had already walked away. Master Su, what are you doing standing still? Come here quickly. Before Su Binhua could react, Shan Yu in front stopped and turned around to ask in confusion. Okay. Su Binhua immediately threw away the worry that had just arisen in his heart and hurriedly followed. But when they arrived at the hotel lobby, Su Binhua still couldn't hold those white and slender hands again, which was a bit regretful. The layout and style of the hotel have restored the ancient courtyards, pavilions, rock eyries, and flowing water. Just sitting here for a while can make people feel extremely relaxed. Shan Yu seems to come here often and is familiar with everything. Soon, a private room was reserved and a dozen palace specialties were ordered. Mr. Su, what do you think is missing? I'm treating you today. Shan Yu handed the menu to Su Binhua with a smile. Su Binhua took the menu and looked at the prices. Generally, the dishes cost thousands or tens of thousands, but for Su Binhua, they were all within the acceptable range, so he said generously, it's our first time meeting, how can we let Miss Shan spend money on a treat? I have invited you to this meal, and I hope Miss Shan will not refuse. Su Binhua spoke in a refined manner, his face as gentle as jade. Okay. If you are taking advantage of others, it will be a waste if you don't cheat. When Shan Yu returned the menu to the waiter, she turned her back to Su Binhua and secretly winked at the waiter. The waitress understood, took the menu, and introduced to the two of them, two guests, our store has recently launched several new special dishes with different flavors. If you are interested, you can try them. New, Shan Yu's eyes were surprised. She inadvertently turned her head to look at Su Binhua. With just one glance, Su Binhua felt a tingling sensation in his heart and straightened his back. If you have any special dishes, bring them over and add them to my account. Okay, sir, please wait a moment. The waitress went down and closed the private room door. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 441. Gu's Manor. After Su Tingyu finished lunch, he lazily slumped on the sofa without doing anything. The Gu family's servant promptly brought fruits to Su Tingyu, who picked up a toothpick and ate it. Why haven't Kikai and the others come back yet? At this time, the mobile phone left aside rang for a while. Su Tingyu glanced at the caller's name, Old Lady. What's going on? Su Tingyu asked directly after clicking the call. Auntie, have you forgotten again? Today is the date of the physical examination. Su Tingyu jumped up from the sofa. Physical examination? I forgot, ahem, how is that possible? I didn't forget it. I was about to leave. Then come out quickly, the car is ready. Good, good. Su Tingyu reached out and grabbed a handful of strawberries and stuffed one into his mouth. After hanging up the call, Su Tingyu called a servant and asked him to talk to Chibubi, and then left the Gu family manor. Outside, Su Tingyu came to the agreed place and got in the car. The driver asked casually, Auntie, why do you keep staying in this manor recently? Really? No, Su Tingyu blinked her big eyes and acted out how to tell lies. The driver was speechless. Come on. It seems that this aunt will not tell the truth. Isn't the task given by the deputy team too impossible to complete? Fortunately, the deputy team also knows my aunt's virtue and doesn't force it. The driver started the car and rushed to the destination. I'll take a nap for a while. Call me when we're almost there. Sutingyu yawned slightly. After spending so many days in the dungeon, although there will be no physical problems when I return to the real world, I feel sleepy mentally. Because of the special nature of Sutingyu's singing, he has to cooperate in doing some research every once in a while. The emergence of parallel paradise interrupted Sutingyu's originally normal life, and therefore she forgot about the time for her physical examination. He said he wanted to sleep for a while, but in fact, Sutingyu was only half asleep and half awake in the car. He could even feel the car turning a corner. In a daze, Sutingyu's thoughts began to wander. In fact, this world is not ordinary. It's just that ordinary people make up the majority, and the top management of the country promptly handles and hides some supernatural phenomena, which makes the world appear very ordinary. The emergence of the parallel paradise may shock, panic, or disbelief to ordinary people, but because of his special identity, Sutingyu has been exposed to some extraordinary events, so he can stay calm in front of the game. The current parallel paradise can only be entered by people with disabilities. China is the most populous country in the real world. There are 200,000 internal beta players. If distributed proportionally, China players may account for the majority. Parallel paradise has appeared for more than 3 months. Have the top officials of China really not received any news about it? Sutingyu didn't believe it. But the current celestial kingdom still has a harmonious appearance where the country is peaceful and the people are safe, prosperous, and powerful. With so many players entering the dungeon, sometimes newcomer dungeons and career dungeons are randomly entered, but no abnormalities are seen in the real world. Is it true that all players have a good grasp of the timing of entering the dungeon and no outsiders notice it? Will all players consciously abide by the rules of the game? No player violated the rules of the game and exposed the parallel paradise. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 442. Red Light District, a bar. On the sofa in the corner, there is a man wearing sunglasses and a black mask. The man wore an inconspicuous black headset on his right ear, and a human voice sounded from it, "Kinke, this is Gugu, please reply when you receive it." Kinke received it. Hanho has arrived in the private room. Currently, Hanho is the only one in the private room. The man stretched out a finger, pressed it on the headset, and answered softly. "Keep waiting, 2 fish are already on their way." "Man," Kinke received it. 10 minutes later, a van drove up outside the bar, and 2 men got out, one fat and one thin. "Where is the location?" "Private room 307. After the 2 came in, they walked straight to the stairs. The blue sparrow in the corner also received the instruction, 2 fish are here, take their positions." Kinke received it. Hin received it. White eagle received it. Hummingbird received. After seeing the 2 people disappear completely, Kinke stood up, pushed down his sunglasses with his fingers, and walked towards the stairs. At the same time, several inconspicuous men on the 2nd and 3rd floors also set off at the same time. In private room 307, a newly grown man walked back and forth in the private room, looking a little anxious. At this time, the door of the private room was knocked open from outside. "Open the door." The young man quickly went to open the door. When he saw 2 people, one fat and one thin, he immediately nodded and bowed to welcome them in. "Brother Lu, Brother Zhang, hello. Well, how have you been collecting player information in the past half month?" The fat man found a place to sit down and asked straight to the point. In the list collected and confirmed this time, there are 105 players. Their real names, addresses, and family relationships in the real world have been confirmed. Among them, half of the players have reached level 3 and are all big fish. The young man simply reported. The fat man asked, "Where is the list?" Here the young man took out a USB flash drive and handed it to the fat man's hand. "Very good, the bonus is doubled." "Thank you, Brother Lou." When the two were about to get up and leave, the young man ran over and opened the door. But as soon as he opened the door a crack, he was kicked open. Kinkei's group of 5 people, as soon as they saw the 3 people in the private room, started to take action without saying a word. "Who are you? What do you want to do?" In just 1 minute, before the 3 people in the private room could react, their hands were clamped by Kinkei and his group and they were pressed to the ground. "Start determining the identity." Kinkei held the grabbed USB flash drive in his hand, and the next command came from the headset. "Yes," Kinkei responded, looked down at the shivering young man lying on the ground, and said, "My grandma is Changshan Zhao Zilong." "You?" The young man's eyes widened in horror. Isn't this his game nickname? How could this person know? Kinkei ignored him, but turned to look at the other 2 people captured, with playful eyes. "You are Lu Fengxian here, and I am Zhang Yide from Yan?" Some of the names do not live up to the reality. "Who are you? Which alliance are you from?" Both the fat man and the thin man struggled hard, but to no avail. Kinkei looked at his teammates and said, "The identities have been confirmed, take them all away." "Yes." After his teammates escorted the person away, Kinkei, who was left alone in the bar to finish up, received the next mission. "Kinkei, please send the information back to the Mystery Bureau first. The informant has come back with new information." "Yes." After Kinkei agreed, he briefly turned off the receiving function of the headset and sighed slightly. "The recent missions have become more and more frequent. It seems that this month, I won't be able to go back to my hometown to see my parents." Kinkei walked out of the bar, found his car, and drove away. Outside the car window, bustling and noisy scenery passed by quickly. No one cares about a car passing by. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuan-Kei. Chapter 443. Name: Sutingyu. Serial number: FZXSA404. Please enter your password. The receptionist at the front desk looked up at Sutingyu, who was pressing the password on the instrument, and then lowered his head. Sutingyu clicked to confirm. After waiting for a few seconds, the receptionist verified the information, handed the 6-hour temporary entry and exit permit to Sutingyu, and said, "Welcome back." "Thank you." Sutingyu smiled and took the temporary permit. This tradition of the Mystery Bureau has not changed, and it is still very cordial. After obtaining the temporary permit, Sutingyu went to the physical examination room in the building alone. Sutingyu swiped the temporary permit at the door, and the sensor door automatically opened. After she walked in, the sensor door automatically closed again. Drgu. Sutingyu greeted a female doctor in her 30s wearing a white coat in the room. The space in the room is large, and there are various exquisite instruments placed there. Some of the instruments have not even appeared in front of the public, and may be considered to appear in science fiction movies. This is a research room dedicated to FZX, and Sutingyu is one of the guinea pigs. There were 4 or 5 men in white coats scattered in the research room, all debugging data from various instruments, but the person in charge here was Drgu, who Sutingyu greeted as soon as he entered the door. Drgu said, You are here, let's start the physical examination." "Good." Sutingyu agreed. Sutingyu had gone through a series of physical examination procedures many times. He was no stranger to it and did not need professional guidance. When it came time to sing a cappella live and test the hypnotic ability of Sutingyu's singing, Sutingyu was isolated in a specially designed recording studio, where he could sing without being heard outside. All researchers, including Drgu, stood outside, wearing sound-isolating headphones on their ears, and communication with each other was completed through the communication equipment in the headphones. In the recording studio, after Sutingyu finished singing a section normally, he suddenly remembered the professional talent he had obtained in the game. In addition to its main hypnotic effect, the purifying effect of my own singing has been significantly improved. Since I can take out game items in reality, can I also use professional talents in reality? Thinking of this, Sutingyu began to try to use his professional talent in the next verse. In the inventory, the mermaid conch glows. Pure Heart Singer's second professional talent, purification by the sounds of nature. Sutingyu blinked her big eyes and felt the changes in her body while singing. It was as if there was something extra in the singing, and my throat seemed to be wrapped in a warm current. It was so warm that as long as there were any symptoms of dryness, it would be cured immediately. After the test, Sutingyu exited the recording studio and accepted the throat lotion handed over by the staff. Sutingyu drank a little symbolically. In fact, her throat was not dry, it was the same as before singing. My singing voice, even if I use my professional talent, doesn't seem to affect me. Therefore, we can only wait for Drgu's experimental results to see what changes professional talent will bring. The recorded songs will be saved and then played to different animals to listen to, and even volunteers will conduct experiments. Sutingyu's singing has been proven to have no direct lethality, so staff members in the Mystery Bureau who have suffered from insomnia or anxiety during this period like to rush to become volunteers. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-K. Chapter 444. Name: Lujeng. Serial number: JCDRB Kinke. Please enter your password. After Lujeng entered his password and waited for a few seconds, the receptionist handed him a 3-hour temporary entry and exit permit and said habitually, "Welcome back." "Okay, thank you." Lujeng took the temporary permit and left the front desk. Lujeng went to the office under his department and handed a USB flash drive to his boss Gugu. Gugu is a big man, but he is a technician. He stays in the office all day long, receiving information from all parties and providing off-site support. Gugu checked the data integrity of the USB flash drive, turned it off, put the USB flash drive into a file bag, sealed it with wax, and then threw it into the security box on the table. After a while, someone will come and take away the secret box, along with the secrets inside. "Thank you for your hard work, Lao Lu." After doing this, Gugu showed a smile on his face and greeted Lujeng. "It's okay. By the way, what's the next mission?" Lujeng asked. Gugu waved his hand. "Hey, don't worry, there is one last person in the mission target who is being identified. By the way, brother, I got a volunteer spot for you to enjoy." With that said, Gugu took out a one-time electronic ticket from the drawer. Lujeng took it. "Volunteer? Be a guinea pig." Gugu chuckled. "This is not an ordinary guinea pig, it is a guinea pig who is an angel in the non-order. Go and relax. You have been working intensively for half a month. Don't let your body get exhausted." "Huh. Is that interesting?" Lujeng has also heard of the name of non-order, which is a mysterious department with a higher level than the investigation department where he works, and the name Angel is even more popular in the mysterious bureau. Of a legend. Being a guinea pig for other non-order members is a sign of the boldness of those who are skilled in art and lacks the beatings of society. But being the guinea pig of an angel is something everyone is vying to be. That's right. Gugu looked grand and waved his hand. "The time is almost up. Go quickly and don't be late." Lujeng didn't hesitate and accepted readily. "Okay, I'll treat you to dinner later." Lujeng went to the volunteer house according to the address and time written on the electronic ticket. "Lao Lu, are you coming too?" "Yeah, relax." "Hee, me too." Outside the volunteer house, Lujeng met a colleague he knew. After communicating for a while, when Lujeng's ticket number was called, he handed in his ticket and went in. Lu Zheng followed the instructions of the staff inside, sat on the sofa and put on his headphones. Lu Zheng has been to this place several times, but this is the first time he has been the angel's guinea pig. There is no way, the quota is limited each time, and the nature of Lu Zheng's work is destined to be outside frequently, so it is difficult to compete with the permanent staff in the bureau. However, he has also heard some rumors. The singing voice of Angel can be hypnotic. So, Lu Zheng lay on the sofa and closed his eyes. As for how long I will sleep for? Well, reasonable laziness. When the song played in the headphones, Lu Zheng, who was immersed in it, felt as if his body and mind had been baptized. The fatigue or loneliness of work was resolved one by one, and some knots in his heart were also eliminated. Confused about when to return to his hometown, Lu Zheng figured it out and decided to take leave tomorrow. No matter how busy or urgent you are at work, you still have to take care of your family. In the end, Lu Zheng just felt comfortable all over. After the singing stopped, Lu Zheng still had endless aftertaste. At this time, the sound of footsteps was heard. Lu Zheng subconsciously sat up and opened his eyes, only to see the shock staff. You weren't asleep.